Single mom with just 5 left discovers an incredible CEO who transforms her life by covering her. Sarah clutched the crinkled bill in her hand, the last remnants of her savings. The summer sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over her small Midwestern town, where the sweet aroma of freshly baked pies drifted through the streets. Her heart ached as she watched her kids, Emily and Jake, playing outside carefree, oblivious to the weight she carried. Every moment felt like an uphill battle, each day blurring into the next. Losing her job at the diner had felt like a punch to the gut, leaving her scrambling for hope with nothing but dreams of better days. "Just come to the charity fair," her friend Laura insisted. "It'll all be good for you." Reluctantly, Sarah found herself surrounded by sharp suits and polished smiles, a world so distant from her own. It felt overwhelming, like stepping into a fairy tale where everyone else had magic and she was cursed. But then she bumped into him, Jake, a charismatic CEO with an infectious warmth. His eyes sparkled with understanding as he listened to her story. In a blink, Sarah felt a flicker of hope she thought long extinguished. "Let me help you," he said, offering mentorship, a lifeline. Deep down, she was intrigued, yet fear gripped her, fear of letting down her pride, fear of becoming a charity case. "No, thanks," she replied, the words tasting bitter in her mouth. He frowned, confusion painted on his face. The gap between them stretched wider, fueled by misconceptions and pride that as the evening wore on. Sarah felt small among the growing throng of wealth and success. The distance between their lives gnawed at her. She couldn't help but think that he'd never understand the burden she carried. With every passing minute, the rift between them deepened, clawing at her heart. Just when hope felt like a fleeting shadow, a storm rolled in, cutting through the fair like a knife, leaving families in need. The crisis thrust Sarah and Jake into a whirlwind of urgency. They collaborated to help their town, both unearthing undreamed of strengths and confronting their biases. Their laughter blended with the sound of raindrops, creating a rhythm that echoed through the air, a melody of hope resonating in the chaos around them. They worked side by side, mending fences and lifting spirits, revealing the undeniable truth that success isn't just measured in numbers, but in tenacity. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As twilight enveloped the town, Sarah felt a shift within her, a warmth igniting in her chest. But just as they began to bridge the gulf between their worlds, she stumbled upon a truth that shook her to her core. In the quiet moments shared, Jake opened up about his childhood, revealing the struggles he faced, echoing the very hardships she knew so well. A shared past. The question hung heavy in the air. Could she learn to accept not just help, but the growing bond between them? As the storm settled, the answers loomed like dark clouds overhead, leaving her heart racing with uncertainty and possibilities. As the rain subsided, conversations among townsfolk began to surface, their voices rising like newly minted hopes. Sarah gathered her thoughts, still processing the shared stories with Jake. He had left behind the image of an untouchable CEO, revealing a vulnerability that mirrored her own battles. Maybe they were not so different after all. "Hey, you all right?" Jake's voice cut through her reverie, warm and gentle, pulling her back to the present. She nodded, the weight of memories hanging like fog around her. "Just thinking." She glanced around, watching the community slowly rebuild, the spirit of resilience alive in every smile. "Yeah, I get that. It's amazing how people come together, isn't it?" His eyes sparkled again, a mixture of appreciation and recognition. For a brief moment, she allowed herself to wonder if there was more than just friendship brewing beneath the surface. As they worked, laughter mingled with determination. Each fence they repaired symbolized a new connection. Each child they fed sparked joy. The night grew long, but Sarah felt energized, breathing in the camaraderie that had become a lifeline. Jake was right, success was indeed born from these moments. Amid the hustle, A child tugged at Sarah's shirt. It was Emily, her daughter's face alight with curiosity and excitement. "Mom, look, we helped." Emily pointed to a table, its cloth decorated with crafts the children had made to sell at the fair, the proceeds meant for those hardest hit by the storm. "Yeah, we did, sweetheart." Sarah's heart swelled with pride. And yet, a flicker of guilt danced in her chest. Could she truly allow herself to believe that spark of success could reach her life too? She turned her gaze back to Jake, who stood chatting with a few locals. The admiration in the way they looked at him was undeniable. With every moment spent together, she saw glimpses of the man behind the title, someone who embodied humility and strength. But fear lingered, whispering doubts in her mind. Could this connection ever grow beyond friendship? Would she somehow color outside the lines of her struggles to step into his world? As the evening quieted, Sarah suddenly felt exposed beneath the moonlight. Jake approached her, his expression open, as if he sensed her turmoil. "Sarah, I've been thinking." Her heart raced. Whatever was about to come could change everything between them. "I think we could do even more together." His earnest gaze bore into hers, eyes pleading but understanding the wall she cautiously built around her heart. She hesitated, then took a deep breath. "More like what?" He smiled, his voice steady. "We can create a program, something to support the families in our community. Maybe even offer mentorship, share what we've learned through our own experiences." Their shared passion ignited a flame within her, yet the thoughts of vulnerability loomed closer. The darkness that had haunted her was slowly giving way to a flicker of light. But would it be enough? Together? She asked, uncertainty lacing her words. "Of course," he replied softly. "I can see your strength, Sarah. You have to believe in it too." Moments stretched between them. She wanted to scream, to cry, to let happiness pour forth from her soul, but she hesitated. What if she opened up only to find disappointment? The unspoken tension danced in the air. Their eyes locked, and for an instant, she felt an undeniable connection, something electric and warm. There was a question on her lips, but the uncertainty churned like a storm inside her. Would she take the leap? As dawn crept gently into the world around them, casting a pale glow, Sarah could almost taste the promise of a new beginning. But deep down, the lurking fears whispered of unknown paths, odious choices ahead. "Jake," she started, but the words caught in her throat, the horizon filled with dawn's light revealing her heart's truth. What would she say, and how would it change everything? Would the new day bring hope, or simply more questions? The sun peeked over the horizon, bathing the town in soft light. Sarah took a deep breath, the fresh morning air filling her lungs with potential. She glanced at Jake, who was scanning the horizon, perhaps lost in thought as she had been. The weight of unspoken words hung between them, thick and palpable. "Are you ready?" Jake asked, breaking the silence. His tone was lighter, yet the seriousness behind it was evident. It was as if he already understood the weight of her decision loomed heavy. Ready for what? She felt a rush of nerves. Was she ready to dive into this new venture, to let her hope bloom into something real? "To talk about the program," he said, tilting his head slightly. "And about us." His words sent a flutter through her. She turned away, pretending to examine a stack of colorful crafts on the table. Emily's cheerful drawings brought a fleeting smile to her face, yet anxiety danced in her stomach. Did he mean what she thought he meant? "Okay," she finally managed to say, her voice wavering. "Let us talk." They found a quiet spot, away from the bustle of townsfolk gathering for the fair. The air was cool, but warmth radiated from Jake's presence. He was close enough for her to feel the heat of his body, and yet, it felt like they were worlds apart. "I was thinking," Jake started, leaning against a tree. "We can define what this program looks like. Perhaps a series of workshops? Sharing skills, life experiences? Something more hands-on than just financial aid." Sarah nodded, excitement bubbling. "Yes, that could really help inspire others," she responded, her mind racing with ideas. But then doubt crept in again. "But how will we manage it? I have my job, and—" "We'll figure it out," Jake interrupted gently, putting a hand on her shoulder. "If we work together, I believe we can make it happen." A rush of warmth overwhelmed her, spreading from her shoulder to her heart. In that moment, the fear started to morph into something else: hope. "I could introduce some workshops on budgeting, parenting skills, anything that could help these families," she offered, heart swelling with purpose. Exactly. And I can gather resources, maybe get local businesses involved. He looked straight into her eyes, as if searching for her commitment. But what if she hesitated again, the familiar fear clawing at her? What if they reject our ideas? What if I fail? Then we learn, and we try again, Jake replied, unwavering. Failure only means we've dared to try. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for, Sarah. The sincerity in his voice wrapped around her like a warm blanket, easing away her doubts, if only momentarily. Yet doubt lingered in the corners of her mind. What if hoping for more between them was just another kind of failure? The gentle rustle of leaves filled the air as they stood there, a shared silence, both heavy and hopeful. She felt the weight of possibility stretching before her. And what about us? She finally asked, the words sliding out before she could stop them. His eyes softened, and he took a step closer. I believe we can be partners in this. Professional and personal. Sarah's heart raced at his suggestion. The ground beneath her felt unsteady, yet exhilarating. There was a pull between them, a gravity she couldn't ignore. But could she risk getting hurt again? I don't know if I'm ready for that, Jake, she confessed, a shiver of vulnerability slipping through. Everything is so new. Then let us take it one step at a time, he suggested, his voice soothing. As the sun climbed higher, Sarah felt a glimmer of hope flicker within her. She took a deep breath, allowing herself a moment to imagine what their journey would look like. But doubt lingered, a low whisper in her head. Could she move forward with this? Could she trust him? With one last glance into Jake's earnest eyes, she knew that the next choices they made would set the stage for everything to come. All right then, she started, her voice shaky but resolute. Let us make this happen. But we'll need to be honest, no secrets, okay? He smiled, a bright light in her world. No secrets. I promise. As she took a step forward into the unknown, Sarah felt the shadows of her fears recede, revealing a path she dared to walk. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something was waiting just beyond this moment. Just how deep would their collaboration and her connection with Jake take her? Would she find the courage to let herself love again, or face another heartbreak? All right, let us get started. Jake's voice was upbeat, but beneath it lay a trembling excitement that echoed Sarah's own. They made their way back to the bustling fair, the vibrant colors and laughter around them gradually mingling with her swirling thoughts. As they walked, Sarah's heart raced with both anticipation and dread. The energy was infectious, but the question loomed in her mind. Could she truly handle both the program and whatever was brewing between her and Jake? So, Jake began, breaking her train of thought. What's the first workshop we should plan? His gaze was warm, but it carried an eagerness that made her heart flip again. Maybe something about financial literacy? She replied, trying to sound confident. A lot of families could benefit from understanding budgeting better. It's a skill I think I might actually be able to share. Perfect. We can create a community resource where everyone can help each other, he said, running a hand through his hair. What do you think? We can get others involved too. Those words lit a fire in her. Yes. We could invite local business owners to share advice, maybe even get the schools involved. They bounced ideas back and forth as they wandered deeper into the fair. The smell of cotton candy filled the air, and laughter rang out from families enjoying rides. A part of Sarah wished she could jump in and forget the weightiness of her decisions, but the other part wanted to push through and see how much they could accomplish together. As they turned a corner, a small booth caught her eye. An elderly woman was demonstrating how to make handmade crafts. Let us check that out, Sarah said, pulling Jake toward the booth. The woman welcomed them with a warm smile. Hello there. Want to learn how to make these? She asked, gesturing to the colorful items surrounding her. Definitely, Sarah replied, her enthusiasm spilling over. She hadn't crafted in years, but something about the colorful supplies made her feel like a kid again. As she settled at the table, she glanced back at Jake, who lingered nearby, his eyes sparkling with amusement as he watched her engage. The woman shared tips and tricks, and soon Sarah found herself immersed in the process, her worries melting away with each stroke of paint. Laughter bubbled between her and the woman, filling Sarah with a sense of connection that had been missing for so long. See, this is what I meant about community, Jake said when he finally joined her at the table, admiring the small creation she had crafted. You've got this spark, Sarah? Her cheeks flushed at the compliment, a warmth spreading through her that had nothing to do with the sunlight beaming down on them. "Thanks, but I think it's just the excitement of something new," she said shyly, placing her tiny artwork down. "New beginnings," he replied softly, his gaze lingering on her. "It's all within reach if we keep this momentum." Their eyes met, and for a moment, the noise of the fair faded, leaving just the two of them in a world filled with possibility. After a few more moments, Sarah swallowed hard and broke the spell. "So, when should we plan our first workshop?" Jake's energy surged. "How about next weekend? We can brainstorm all week and hit the ground running." "Next weekend," she echoed. Excitement bubbled inside her. They were really stepping into something new together. Then, an unexpected thought struck. What if things change once we start? Her voice dropped, and the excitement left her like air escaping a balloon. "What if we fail?" "Sarah," Jake said, leaning closer. His words were steady as he looked deeply into her eyes. "We'll adapt, we'll learn, and we'll conquer whatever comes our way. As long as we're honest and grow together, nothing can tear us apart." A shiver ran down her spine, at once thrilling and terrifying. Suddenly, the thought of failing didn't feel so heavy. The anticipation swirled with fear, but now included an unmistakable current of hope. What if she truly could build a life where she could not only help others, but also open her heart again? But just then, the festival's atmosphere shifted. A loud commotion sounded from the far side of the fair. Curious townsfolk began to gather, their murmurs piqued by something behind them. "What is happening over there?" Sarah asked, her heart racing as she turned to look alongside Jake. "Whatever it is," Jake replied, his grip on her hand tightening, "we're about to find out." And as the crowd grew restless with anticipation, she couldn't shake the feeling that whatever awaited them might change everything. The crowd surged forward, an engulfing wave of curiosity. The vibrant colors around Sarah blurred as her focus shifted to the gathering throng. Voices rose, some filled with excitement, others tinged with apprehension. She felt Jake's grip on her hand tighten, a reassuring anchor in the sea of chaos. "What do you think is happening?" she whispered, hardly able to contain her own rising curiosity. "Not sure," Jake replied, his eyes scanning the scene. "Let us get closer." They made their way through the crowd, gradually piecing together snippets of conversation. It was a contest, a spontaneous challenge hosted by the fair. Participants had to pitch their ideas in front of judges for a chance to win funding for their community projects. "Now that's something we could use," Sarah exclaimed, her heart racing with a mix of fear and exhilaration. "If we were to pitch our workshop idea, think of the exposure." Jake nodded, his enthusiasm mirroring her own. "We should totally do it. This could be our shot to get the community behind us." But doubt crept back into her thoughts. What if we fail? What if they don't take us seriously? The weight of her insecurities began to press down again. Would her idea really resonate? "Hey," Jake said, his tone firm but encouraging. "No matter what, we'll learn and grow from this. Trust me." Sarah took a deep breath, trying to quell the storm inside her. "Okay, together then." "Together," Jake affirmed, flashing her a smile that lit up her nerves. As the announcer's voice boomed over the speakers, excitement rippled through the crowd. "Next up, we have Sarah and Jake with their community financial literacy workshop." A wave of adrenaline washed over her as they stepped onto the makeshift stage. The colorful banners fluttered in the wind, and the crowd's murmurs swelled. Jake went first, confidently detailing their vision. Sarah felt her heart race as she listened, his passion igniting her own. When the microphone passed to her, her hands trembled slightly, but she took a breath and pressed on. "Our goal is to offer families tools to manage their finances effectively. We want to create a space where knowledge circulates, where families learn from each other." The crowd reacted with nods and murmurs of agreement. For a moment, she felt the warmth of shared purpose and the weight of her doubts began to lift. "We also see this as an opportunity to create connections," Sarah continued, her voice gaining strength. "It's not just about numbers. It's about building a community, helping one another." As she wrapped up, she caught sight of Jake's encouraging gaze. Together, they finished and stepped back as the audience erupted into applause. It was a vibrant sound that filled her with a mix of thrill and disbelief. The judges whispered amongst themselves, and Sarah held her breath, hoping for a miracle. And the winner, Receiving funding for their project is the announcer paused dramatically, the crowd leaning in closer. Suddenly, the loud crack of a firework exploded overhead, sending colors cascading through the sky. The noise drowned out the announcer's next words, and Sarah instinctively grasped Jake's arm, heart racing. As the crowd cheered and turned their excitement up a notch, she saw the judges' faces, smiles breaking across them. "Looks like they liked you." Jake chuckled, his eyes shining brighter than the fireworks. But just as she felt a wave of triumph wash over her, the chatter and excitement of the crowd morphed into an unsettling buzz. Among the laughter and cheers, she caught sight of a figure moving toward the stage, their expression unreadable. Who was it, and what did they want? Glancing at Jake, she felt apprehension crawling back into her gut. They had barely grasped this exhilarating moment, and now it seemed like trouble was at their door. Were they truly ready for whatever came next? And as the cheers faded behind glancing fears, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that life was about to take an unexpected twist. The figure approaching the stage loomed larger with each step. Sarah squinted, trying to decipher who it was through the fireworks haze. The cheers faded as the crowd's energy shifted, an undercurrent of curiosity swirling into apprehension. The moment she recognized the woman, a knot tightened in her stomach. It was Claire, the head of a local nonprofit organization known for being tough and blunt, yet fiercely passionate about community projects. Her powerful presence was intimidating, especially now as she headed straight for them. "Sarah, Jake." Claire's voice cut through the lingering applause as she reached the edge of the stage. Her eyes were intense, and Sarah felt an energetic pull tugging at her chest. Was it excitement or fear? "I need to talk to you." "Now, what is going on?" Jake asked, stepping slightly in front of Sarah, as if to shield her from whatever storm was about to unfold. "I've been watching you," Claire replied, her tone steady. "And I think you have something strong here. But funding isn't everything." She paused, gauging their reactions, stilling the doubts swirling in Sarah's mind. "I want you to meet me tomorrow to discuss potential collaboration. There's more at stake than just winning some cash. We need this workshop to take off in the right direction." "Collaboration?" Sarah echoed, her voice almost a whisper. The idea excited her, yet it scared her too. "What does that mean?" "It means shaping your vision with us," Claire replied, a hint of warmth breaking through her intensity. "You both have passion, but you'll need more than just passion to invoke real change. I want to help propel your dream forward, but I need to see how serious you are about commitment too." Jake turned to Sarah, his eyebrows raised. The perplexed look on his face matched her spiraling thoughts. They had just stepped into a whirlwind of opportunity, but it felt heavy and overwhelming. What would this partnership entail? Would they sign away parts of their dream? "I'm okay," Sarah said, trying to find her voice. "We're serious. Definitely serious. Meet me at the Coffee Cove at 10 tomorrow morning," Claire instructed, her expression softening a touch. "Bring your notebooks. We'll need them." With that, she turned and disappeared back into the crowd, leaving Sarah and Jake standing in stunned silence, hearts pounding with possibilities and uncertainties. Did that just happen? Jake finally exhaled, still processing the exchange. "I think it did," Sarah replied, a mix of hope and uncertainty coloring her tone. As the fireworks faded into the night, they left the stage, the murmurs of the crowd swirling around them. Excitement and doubt intertwined within Sarah. A new door had opened, but what lay on the other side? What if this is it? What if this is our chance? She mused, glancing at Jake, who seemed to be sharing her whirlwind of emotions. "But what does commitment mean?" He countered, the gears in his mind visibly turning. "Are we ready for that?" Her heart began to flutter again, the weight of the moment settling in. This was more than just a workshop. It was about their future, their dreams. "Let us not overthink it," Sarah finally said. "Let us walk before we run. We'll take it step by step." With each stride away from the stage, the adrenaline began to fade, replaced with a cautious optimism. They had a meeting to prepare for a chance to not just make a difference, but perhaps change their lives entirely. But what lay ahead at the Coffee Cove? Would Claire be the ally they needed, or was she simply leading them into deeper waters? As excitement and trepidation coiled around Sarah like a living thing, she couldn't shake that feeling that every choice they were about to make would matter. Time would tell what awaited them in the morning. The next morning dawned clear and bright, the sunlight filtering through the kitchen window, as Sarah hastily poured herself a cup of coffee. She leaned against the counter, her heart racing. The thought of meeting Claire was both thrilling and terrifying. What did she expect from them? "Hey, ready for our big meeting?" Jake called from the living room, breaking her from her thoughts. He was on the couch, scrolling through his notes, slightly less dazed than he had been the night before. Sarah took a deep breath. "Yeah, I think so. Just trying not to freak out here," she admitted, wiping her palms on her jeans. The butterflies in her stomach churned, their wings flapping wildly. They finished breakfast quickly, racing against time. As they stepped outside, the sun warmed their faces, and Sarah felt an unexpected surge of hope. The town felt different today. It was as if the entire world was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen. The Coffee Cove was a cozy little cafe with bright art on the walls and the inviting scent of pastries wafting through the air. Sarah and Jake arrived early, peering at the menu and trying to calm themselves with caffeine before their meeting. "Maybe we should thought this through more. What if we fumble this?" Jake said, running a hand through his hair. "We can't think like that," Sarah replied, her voice more firm than she felt. "If we let fear control us, we'll miss this opportunity." Just then, the bell chimed as Claire walked in. She looked as commanding as ever, her presence commanding instant attention. Sarah felt a familiar knot form in her stomach, but she swallowed hard, reminding herself to stand tall. "Thanks for coming," Claire said, her voice steady and reassuring as she approached their table. "Let us cut to the chase. I believe in what you're trying to do, but I need to know you're ready to put in the work." As they spoke, Sarah's heart raced. Claire presented them with advice that felt like a lifeline thrown into a turbulent sea. "You have to dig deeper. Get to the root of your vision. Why are you doing this? What difference do you want to make?" Their conversation began to weave an intricate tapestry of ideas, hopes, and fears. Sarah found herself sharing pieces of her life, her struggles as a single mom, the dreams she had for her daughter, and the desire to create something vibrant that could spark change. Claire listened, her brows furrowed in concentration, and for a moment, Sarah felt heard in a way she hadn't before. "I see potential here," Claire said, leaning back in her seat. "You just need to refine your goals. I want to help you clarify your message so it resonates more with the community." Jake nodded vigorously. "That's exactly it. We want to inspire others, but we need clarity on how to do that." Sarah's confidence began to grow, fueled by Claire's support. Ideas flowed freely as they dove into discussions, dissecting what really mattered to them. But just as optimism filled the space, Claire leaned forward, her expression shifting. "And this is where commitment comes in. You have to make choices. Sacrifices. Are you both in this for the long haul?" The weight of her question hung in the air. Sarah exchanged glances with Jake. Was she prepared to risk it all? The thought squeezed her heart, reminding her of everything she had to lose. "Claire," Sarah hesitated, "what if we can't do it?" Claire smiled, though it didn't fully reach her eyes. "That's the journey. But it's a risk worth taking if you want to change lives." In that moment, it became clear. They were at a crossroads. The path they chose here could either lead them into a realm of possibility or back to the safety of their old lives. As they continued to discuss their dreams and fears, Sarah felt the stakes rising. The choice loomed over them like a storm cloud on the horizon. Could they commit fully? What would they risk to pave the way for their vision? As they wrapped up their meeting, Claire's final words hung in the air, shimmering with possibility. "This is just the beginning. Are you ready for what comes next?" Her heart raced. They had reached a pivotal moment. Would they take that leap? Every decision mattered now, and the next step felt both exhilarating and daunting. The real journey was just beginning. And as they walked out of the Coffee Cove, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that their dream was teetering on the edge of something monumental, waiting for their go-ahead to take flight. What awaited them on that journey? Would they soar, or would they crash? As Sarah stepped out of the Coffee Cove, the warmth of the sun felt almost electric against her skin. Each ray seemed to carry the weight of their conversation, a reminder of the choices that lay ahead. The sidewalk felt different, as if it too knew something monumental was brewing just beneath the surface. "What do we do next?" Jake asked, breaking her reverie. His eyes sparkled with a mix of hope and uncertainty. "First, we need to figure out what our message is," Sarah replied, her voice steady despite the doubts swirling in the pit of her stomach. Claire made it clear that we have to be specific if we want to engage the community. Jake nodded. "Right. But how do we even start? We need to crack this wide open. They ambled toward the park, the sounds of laughter and children playing filling the air. It felt like life was continuing around them while they stood still at this crossroads. Sarah hesitated as they reached a nearby bench, the weight of her aspirations settling heavy on her shoulders. "Let us think about what we want to offer," she said, half to herself. "I don't want just another project. I want something that really matters." "Something like?" Jake prompted, genuinely curious. "Like a community hub where people can come together, share skills, and support each other, maybe even workshops for single parents." Sarah felt the words spill out, her heart picking up pace with each sentence. "A place where they can find resources, connect with each other. What if we had cooking classes or financial planning sessions?" "Wow," Jake said, his enthusiasm building. "That sounds incredible. It's not just about us. It's about lifting up everyone. It's their stories too." But Sarah bit her lip, wrestling with her fears. "What if we can't make it happen? I'm already so stretched thin. What if I fail?" Jake leaned closer, his voice softening. "Listen, we won't know until we try. Remember what Claire said? It's about commitment. We can't let the fear of failure keep us from this." His words rang true, igniting a flicker of determination in her chest. They sat for a moment, absorbing the energy around them. The park was alive, colorful kites soaring high above, dogs barking, children tumbling in a whirlwind of joy. Her heart ached with the realization. If this community hub could bring even a fraction of that joy to others, it had to be worth pursuing. "Okay," Sarah finally said, grounding herself. "Let us draft a business plan. We'll reach out to local businesses for support. Maybe they do want to sponsor workshops in exchange for advertising." As they brainstormed ideas, excitement blossomed between them. They both tossed around concepts, envisioning their vision taking root in the community. With every suggestion, Sarah felt that familiar tide of hope swell within her, chasing away clouds of doubt. But as ideas flowed, something gnawed at the back of Sarah's mind, a nagging worry that they might not be equipped for this monumental task. "Jake," she said softly, "what if we run out of steam? What if we can't keep up?" Just then, the vibrant sound of a community event filtered through the trees. She turned to see colorful banners fluttering in the wind, laughter bubbling up from a gathering taking place just a little further down the park. A farmer's market was in full swing, people engaging, sharing stories, and finding joy in community. It was contagious that a spark flickered in her heart. "There's our first step," she said, pointing at the event. "New connections, a community pulse. Let us talk to people, get input, hear what they want." "Great idea," Jake exclaimed, invigorated. He jumped up, determination radiating off him like sunlight. "Let us dive in." Sarah followed suit, heart pounding, excitement replacing her earlier fear. They walked towards the market, anticipation coursing through her veins. Every step felt like the dawning of a new chapter, the whisper of what they could create. But as they mingled, meeting faces and gathering stories, an unexpected thought struck her. What if they discovered that the well of community resources was not as deep as they'd hoped? What if the very people they wanted to help turned out to have their own fears, just like hers? The possibilities both thrilled and terrified her. But she knew one thing. They had to keep moving forward. Stepping into the unknown was a risk, but the chance to make a difference outweighed the hesitation. Whatever awaited them could either lead to their greatest triumph or their biggest lesson yet. As they paused to watch a group of children dance with a local band, Sarah felt that thrill again, whispering like a secret. What if this was just the start? What if their journey was only beginning? And under the shade of the market tents, surrounded by the pulse of their community, Sarah realized they were about to discover the answer. As they walked into the farmer's market, the vibrant colors of fruits and vegetables seemed to leap out at Sarah and Jake. It felt like stepping into a living painting, populated with laughter, aromas, and the soft chatter of families enjoying a Saturday morning. This environment pulsed with life and possibility. "Look at all these booths," Jake observed, pointing at a stand adorned with fresh flowers. "We have to meet the vendors. They might be key to our plan." Sarah felt a nervous flutter in her stomach. "Right. We need to know what they offer, not just what they sell, but how they connect with people." Together, they navigated through the crowd, pausing at a booth selling handmade candles. The vendor, a warm woman with gray-streaked hair, smiled at them. "These are all made with love. Each scent tells a story. What brings you two out here today?" We're exploring how to support our community, Sarah replied, her heart racing. We want to create a space where people can connect and learn from each other. The woman's eyes lit up, bright against her weathered face. That's a beautiful vision. People crave connection. I started this because I wanted to be involved, to give back. What resources are you thinking about? As Sarah began to outline her ideas, she felt the weight of her worries dissolve. Each connection she made fueled her resolve. A candle vendor understood her passion, and suddenly, they were not alone in this endeavor. Moving through the market, they visited various stalls, soaking in stories of persistence and resilience. A single mother selling homemade pastries shared her journey of overcoming struggles to support her children. I went through a tough time, but I wanted to show my kids the importance of hard work. Hearing her story stirred something deep within Sarah, a reflection of the very fears she harbored. With each interaction, Sarah and Jake jotted down notes, sketches of potential classes, and ideas for workshops. The excitement built around them, stitched together by threads of shared dreams and challenges. Then, amidst this tapestry of community connections, Sarah's attention was drawn to a booth at the far corner. A sleek banner read "Heart Hustle, turning passion into profit." Intrigued, she urged Jake to check it out with her. Behind the booth stood a tall figure, a man in a crisp suit, exuding confidence and warmth. His smile was infectious. "Welcome. I'm Daniel, the founder of Heart Hustle. We help entrepreneurs find their voice and thrive." Just as Sarah was about to speak, she felt a flicker of doubt creep in. What did she know about running a business? But Daniel continued, "You seem passionate about community. What are you working on?" As Sarah began to share their vision of the community hub, she noticed Daniel's eyes spark with interest. "That's incredible. I've seen this kind of initiative change lives, including my own. How can I help?" Before she could answer, Jake chimed in, "We could really use your insight. We're trying to figure out how to sustain it and reach more people." Daniel nodded, leaning in closer. "Let us schedule a time to meet. I'd love to provide mentorship and resources. You're not alone in this." Pulses quickened, and Sarah's mind raced. Was this the opportunity they needed? Would this man, who seemed to have it all figured out, truly be on their side? For the first time, feelings of doubt were overpowered by hope. Yet as excitement surged, her heart wrestled with that nagging fear. What if they couldn't live up to expectations? They exchanged contact details, smiles widening with every promise of support. As they turned to leave his booth, Sarah glanced back at Daniel. She felt as if she had stepped into a new chapter, one filled with possibility, yet tinged with uncertainty. She whispered to Jake, "What if we really could change something here? But what if we fail?" Jake squeezed her shoulder. "Then we learn and keep going. Remember, we're not just chasing a dream. We're building community." Each step toward the market exit brought more clarity, yet unknown challenges lingered. The smell of fresh bread wafted through the air as they passed by the bakery stall, and Sarah realized that possibility was within reach. It sparkled on the horizon. But then a shadow flitted across her mind. What if there were unseen obstacles? What if the very community they wanted to uplift had barriers of their own? As they walked into the sunlight, a decision loomed large before her. Embrace the unknown or retreat. And as laughter echoed behind them, Sarah felt she was about to make a choice that would shape not only her future, but the future of so many others. What lay ahead would challenge everything she thought she knew. Would she be brave enough to step into the uncertain, to build the community she envisioned? As the sun set on that vibrant day, Sarah stood at the crossroads of her dreams. The stars flickered above, much like the hopes that danced within her heart. She and Jake had stumbled upon something significant, something that felt like it could set their lives on fire if they dared to embrace it. Did you see how people were responding? Jake's voice broke through her reverie, filled with excitement and possibility. "They believe in this. We just need to channel that energy." "Yeah, but everything is still so uncertain," Sarah admitted, a hint of doubt creeping into her tone. The glimmer of excitement was there, but shadows of insecurity loomed large. What if it all unravels? What if we can't deliver? Jake turned to her, his expression serious, yet reassuring. "Failures are part of every journey. Every entrepreneur has faced them. It's how we learn and grow. You are so much stronger than you realize." Something in his words stirred her up. They faced tangible challenges, but what mattered was the journey they would share together. She took a deep breath, weighing her fears against the surge of optimism stirring inside her. "You're right," she said, determination unfurling within her. "Let us get together this week, draft that plan, and align our goals. If Claire sees potential, then we have to push forward." And so they plunged into action. Day after day was filled with meetings, brainstorming sessions, and the joyous chaos of planning. Their community hub evolved from a mere idea into something more concrete, a space where lives could intersect, where neighbors could connect, learn, and grow together. They decided to call it the heart of our town. The logo became an emblem of their intent, a vibrant heart symbolizing not just their dreams of entrepreneurship, but the community spirit they aimed to nurture. Jake worked tirelessly to secure funding. Sarah reached out to parents, gathering insights about their needs. At every step, they found support. Vendors from the farmers market wanted to contribute, local businesses signed on to sponsor workshops, and community members eagerly awaited the launch. But as the grand opening approached, anxious thoughts crept back into Sarah's mind. Was this idealism enough? What if they couldn't meet the expectations? But each time doubts whispered in her ear, she would remember the children's laughter at the farmers market, the pride in their voices as they shared stories of resilience and tenacity. This time, she wouldn't let fear dictate her path. The day finally arrived. The heart of our town was alive with energy. Tables were filled with sign-up sheets for classes, cooking for families, financial literacy, creative arts. Laughter rang out as children participated in fun activities, painting, crafts, and games, all under the watchful eyes of parents who also found their place in the crowd. "Can you believe this? Look at how many people showed up." Jake's voice was nearly drowned out by the joyful noise. He grinned widely, his excitement contagious. Sarah felt warm, a profound sense of belonging washing over her. The space felt alive like the beating heart of the town they had envisioned. But just as she basked in the joy of the moment, a familiar figure approached Claire. "You've both done something amazing here," she said, her gaze scanning the bustling room with genuine admiration. "It takes guts to step up and create change." Sarah felt a swell of pride. "Thank you, Claire. But we couldn't have done it without the community coming together." "True, but it started with you too," Claire replied. "You embraced the vision and put in the hard work. This is just the beginning." As the day unfolded, Jake and Sarah floated through the crowd, soaking in the laughter, conversations, and feelings of connection that filled the air. Each smile was a reaffirmation that they had created something real, vital, and essential. They had taken risks, faced their fears, and emerged anew. But amid the smiles, the warmth of success wrapped around them like a comforting quilt. Sarah took a step back, watching as Jake engaged with families, his laughter echoing around her. She felt a shift, a sense of trust blossoming between them. The uncertainties that were once so daunting now felt like stepping stones, guiding her toward not just the success of their initiative, but the strengthening of their bond. As she turned to Jake, her voice filled with raw sincerity. "I couldn't have done this without you, you know? You've shown me parts of myself I didn't even know existed." Jake met her gaze, his expression softening. "You haven't just built a community, Sarah. You've built a new life for you and your kids. I'm proud to stand beside you." In that moment, she embraced the pain that had held her back, releasing it into the joy surrounding them. They had transformed from two strangers drawn together by hardships into partners walking through life's unknown, ignited by the dream of something greater. And as the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over their successes, Sarah felt the weight lift from her shoulders. They had taken on the unthinkable and had triumphed. The journey was just the beginning, and with every step forward, she knew they would tackle whatever challenges lay ahead together. And this was just the start of lifelong transformation, where hope bloomed really, truly, in the hearts of many. That if you're inspired by Sarah and Jake's incredible journey, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for our channel and catch the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let others feel this transformation. Comment your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. And remember to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see what's possible when you believe. Don't wait not even one more second to uplift someone else today.